Alright. Rumpel doesn't get a lot of love, sadly, probably because he jokes around too much. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to place my finger. Like, I'm not sure exactly why I don't like Rumpel. I mean, obviously the fact he's a playboy, he's flirty, but it's not just that. I don't know. It's just something. I don't know what the word is. It's like feeling, like he's being, I don't know. I don't know what the word is. I don't know. I'm just trying to think, like, why do I hate Rumpel so much? I don't know. I guess because, like, initially, when we first saw him, he was, like, you know, cool and mysterious, actually. But then he opened his mouth, so then we learned, like, I don't know. He just reminds me of, I guess, Yosuke from Persona 4. You know Yosuke, I believe, Persona 4. I don't know, that kind of character, that kind of, like, bro dude character that, like, is overly dramatic and tries to flirt with every girl he sees, you know, that kind of guy. I don't know why. I hate Yosuke. You know, he reminds me of Yosuke in that sense. I don't know. Like, it feels like, I don't know. I just don't like it. But we'll see. Maybe he gets better, you know? Maybe, you know, we learn more about it. Maybe he's just putting on that person. Because, you know, I can imagine that because he doesn't have a lot of his memories. Maybe he's just putting up that front to, like, you know, disguise the fact that he doesn't have a personality or something, you know? Something like that. So that maybe when we learn more about him, you know, maybe he's not much of, like, a, you know, idiot. I don't know. Anyway. We'll see. You know, and you know what, you know, despite me not liking the character himself, the situations he's in are pretty comedic, so maybe he's more like a funny, you know, like a funny character, so maybe it'll be fun in that sense. We'll see. Let's go back, let's see, where do we go back? Go back here, yeah. After this choice, and it says, oh, you've unlocked Fritz's and Waltz's routes, amazing. So we'll explore that later. We'll do Rumpel's first. I guess we can do, you know, Waltz and Fritz first, but and we can and I can. Oh, what's this? I can break the curse on my own. Interesting. I guess. Oh no, that's like probably like Fritz, right? So we have like the Karma, Rumpel, Rod, and Waltz, obviously, or I can break the curse on my own. It's an interesting decision because I assume that goes to Fritz's route. No. Anyway, we'll go Rumpel. I feel like Waltz and Fritz, you know, they're probably the more interesting routes in terms of like plot, as far as I know, because they're the ones they unlock. I assume it's because, you know, you have to learn all the other like stuff that happens in the other routes before you can dive into the other last two routes. But anyway, let's wait on that. Let's go to Rumpel first, though. Hey Rumpel, I know I don't like you, but let's hang out. I suppose I can ask Rumpel. Enough girls seem to like him, so he might have sound advice. I don't know. I find Rumpel in between his orders, and I pull him aside. He looks oddly relieved. Princess, you saved me. Saved you? From a heinous overload of work. I'm pretty sure Rumpel does less around here than me. At least I finish the work I'm given, unlike Rumpel who gets distracted by every single thing. Dear Lucette, if you've called me here, then you must want to confess something to me. What? Perhaps you'll confess your undying love for me? I scowl at him and cross my arms. I came to ask you for advice, but perhaps I'll go ask someone else. You came to ask my advice? Rumpel stares at me, clearly shocked. I guess it is because out of all the people I would ask, he probably seems the least likely. Yeah, he does. Then I will assist, my sweet princess. What kind of advice are you looking for? Perhaps you'd like to learn how to make a man swoon, or how to stroke the embers of the heart. Is flirting the only thing he has ever on his mind? I came because I want you to teach me about goodness. Goodness? But my sweet, all of the advice that I just suggested would teach you just that. Being romantic will not teach me how to be good, or how to do good. Rumpel dramatically places his hand over his heart. But being romantic is good. Don't you see the smiles on the lovely ladies' faces when I speak with them? I cannot imagine why they smile like that. Rumpel's persistence is annoying. to be romantic and loving. That is the epitome of goodness. Show someone affection and they will return it twofold. I will only stare at Rumpel. I can only stare at Rumpel as I wonder why I even decided to ask him. Because I have to. I have to see all the routes. I have no choice. I'm sorry, Lucette. You're gonna have to kiss them eventually. Or you could just be kind. Everyone is kind their own way, princess. So what do you say? Perhaps you would like to practice on me. I'm sure your smile would brighten up my week. No, I'm certain of it. I have work. Bye-bye. I quickly turn and leave before Rumpel can continue. If I had to be romantic or in a good deed, I'd rather be cursed like this forever. You know, ironically, his advice actually is the right advice. You know, because every time, at least our final deed anyway, is actually to, you know, love someone. Ironically, we love Ra to break his curse, and we love Claw to break his curse. So actually, being romantic will earn you a good deed. Huh. Funny that. I stare in horror at the floor. Okay, yeah. Because it's very dirty. You can use Mr. Broom. Hey, hello, Mr. Broom. Where's the Mr. Broom route? Can we just, you know, flirt with Mr. Broom? That'd be great. Nah. Skip and oh yeah, let's just fast forward. Back to this choice again. Two little scenes. You know, we have with each character. Again, we go to Rumpel. I find Rumpel taking a break at one of the tables. Surprisingly, he's by himself and not surrounded by the usual blushing ladies. You are not surrounded by a flock of ladies. You must have done something to offend them. Rumpel looks at me, the surprise apparent on his face. Princess, have you come to mend my broken heart? Excuse me. I was speaking with a lady here only hours ago when she told me that she was betrothed to someone else. Betrothed? What happened hours ago when you're still sitting here? Rumpel places his chin on the palm of his hand, very tired. In mourning. The heart is a fragile thing, princess. Won't you help heal my shattered heart? Rumpel stares at me when I do not answer. That would count as a good deed, you know. Helping you would count as a good deed. I don't know about that. Doing things out of the kindness of your heart is a good deed, princess. The kindness of my heart. Why would I want to help you when you've done nothing for me? Kindness isn't a thing that needs to necessarily be returned, princess. Single instances of affection can make a light harder. Or harder? No, mix that up. Can make a heart lighter. Not a light harder? No. Why does he always go through the trouble of making his words sound so much fancier? I will not help mend your broken heart because that would be an act of stupidity, not kindness. Rumpel's shoulders slump as he frowns. Aw, now my heart is even more fragmented. You suffer from a broken heart every day you are rejected. Of course, because to pour your heart out to someone only to be rejected is a cruel fate, princess. You probably deserve rejection, but with the way you flirt with everyone, so no, I'm not gonna help you. Heal your own broken heart. I turn around and walk away. The acts Rumpel puts on are annoying. I don't know. I really empathize with Lucette. I don't know. Again, I guess he gets better. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I guess he gives genuine advice there, but like at the same time, he's saying it to like flirt at the same time. Right? All right, guy of the glass, guy of the glasses, the flatterer. I do not know why the first person that popped in my mind was Rumpel. Yeah, because we're looking for a partner and everything, I guess we choose Rumpel. Just because he puts a smile on ladies' faces with his flirting does not mean he can help me do a good deed. And yet here I am, by the cruel twist of fate, by someone controlling this game. I find Rumpel on break, surrounded by a few giggling ladies. His hands make dramatic sweeping gestures as he showers them with compliments. And you, my sweet, are like sunshine peeking through the clouds on a dark day. You litter the ground with so much golden light and make every flower reach out toward your warmth. On second thought, maybe I should reconsider. Princess! Rumpel noticed me, however, and immediately waves me over. I mean... Okay, well... We restart saving. I guess we gotta start. We'll start saving here. This doesn't really matter. We can. What? Turn around. Wait, bye bye. I just remembered I have something to do. I turn around and start walking away, but I immediately stop when I feel Rumpel's hand on my shoulder. I slap his hand away. Fierce as always. You remind me of a rose with thorns, princess. Oh, rose with thorns, eh? Reminds me of Claude. You know, you want a rose with thorns? You know, you should maybe fall in love with Claude, maybe. He'll turn into a beast. He leans closer and winks at me. But the thorns are what makes a rose so alluring. Are you always so persistent? Or do you actually want me to slap you again? Your slapping me is but a small blockade in the road. I will never give up on you, princess. Does he enjoy when I purposely try to ignore him? The most brilliantly sparkling gems are buried deep within the ground and take much effort to unearth. What? Princess, you're like one of those gems. No, I'm not like a gem. You got a point with him, okay. We're gonna do this, aren't we? Rumpel, why would you deal with someone like her? What? Lucette is like a budding flower. I will do my best to help her bloom in whatever way that I can. You've come to me for advice, right? How did he know? The look of shock on your face is adorable and so absolutely satisfying. It seems I hit the nail right on the head. Rumpel, she's obviously so stubborn to me that she needs your help. These women are so infuriating. Okay, see. Rumpel leans a little closer to me and suddenly he's whispering in my ear. Let me tell you something, princess. Making a person happy just to see them smile is definitely a good deed. Huh? Making someone feel important is never a disservice. You know, this reminds me of another scene in a different game called Danganronpa, where a character whispers in the ear of another character. There's a meme about that like sentence that she says, you know, to that character, but it's kind of a spoiler, so I don't want to say that spoiler. But yeah, it reminds me of a scene in Danganronpa. I don't know, in a different game anyway. Making someone feel important is never a disservice. What do you think? I'm pretty knowledgeable, aren't I? All he ever talks about is doting on people, flirting with them and making them smile. Rumpel continues talking, which is why I will make an excellent partner. I take a step back, and Rumpel now is looking at me with a triumphant smile. How did you... I'm very perceptive, princess. You overheard my conversation with Parfait. She told me about it. She did. Only briefly. You're not perceptive at all. Princess, you cannot see it, but I'm drowning in my own tears. He just assumed I was going to be partners with him, which is very annoying. I don't even know why I was considering partnering up with Rumpel when he says the same things over and over again. And I do not think I could be around him day in and out. Oh my, what do I spot here? Delora appears before us, a sly smile on her face. Slacking off, you two. I'm on the break! That break ended about 5 minutes ago, Rumpel, and Princess and think there's a broom that needs attending. Fine. There's no use in complaining, and I would rather get away from Rumpel. Rumpel turns to the ladies and smiles. My lovely ladies, I will be back later, and I promise that we will continue our conversation without any interruptions. Oh, and Princess, we'll continue our conversation later as well. I walk off before Rumpel can try to shower more of his compliments onto me. Making a person happy just to see them smile. Can such a thing really be considered a good deed? The days at the tavern go by quickly over the next week. Princess? Princess? You've been staring off into space. I was just thinking. I just finished using Mr. Broom, and now I'm helping Anise sort some of the shelves in the back. Rumpel is taking up the serving for today. The women always enjoy him, but the men are always glaring at him. Okay. They're jealous of Rumpel, I think. Who? The other men. Or who? The ones who are jealous. And Anise looks over at the men that are glaring at Rumpel as he drifts between the tables. I'm worried about Rumpel, too. What are you talking about? You were looking at Rumpel with a funny expression in your face. No, I wasn't. The words are clipped and my voice is cold. Anise looks at me sadly, but I do not care. What I do is none of her business. I think the girls are jealous of you too. What? I glance around the tavern and notice that there are girls glowering at me. I'm not unaccustomed to these stares, since people have always looked at me this way. During the times I left the palace, people gave me the same looks, but this feels different somehow. Why would they be jealous? Because you're Rumpel's partner. I'm not his partner. You're not? He's been telling everyone that you are. I never agreed to being partners with him. I felt that your longing gaze upon my back, and I have arrived, my princess. Rumpel suddenly appears before the two of us, smiling brightly. I suddenly have the strong urge to slap the smile right off his face, just slap all the time. We are not partners. But princess, you asked for my advice that I gave to you because I care. No one else cares as much about you as I. And so I proclaimed us both partners, because we are both a match made in heaven. You're so overwhelmed with gratitude that you are at a loss for words. If I could throw something at you, I would. A punch packed with as much strength as your love. I can only groan in response. Oh my. Hello everyone. It seems like you're having fun. How is this fun? Rumpel is never fun. All he ever does is spout nonsense. He doesn't mean any harm, princess. He's just filled it up with so many compliments. He needs to get them off his chest. Well, he can go direct them at one of his many other adoring fans. I shift my gaze to Rumpel and furrow my eyebrows at him. Or do you only direct them at me because you enjoy how much I ignore you? Is this a weird fetish thing? I don't know. I only wanted to help, princess. That's what partners do, right? But we are not partners. Just try this partnership out, princess. I promise it will be worth your while. Nothing ventured, nothing gained, princess. You can always change partners. Lady Parfait, you've broken my heart. You are very good at healing your broken heart by now, Rumpel. Anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt. I will need to speak with Anise to make sure that she doesn't need any help with a particular list. A list? A list of herbs. For me. Anise has been nice enough to gather herbs for me. Lady Parfait, is this about your body? What's wrong with your body? It's nothing to concern yourself with, princess. My body is just a little frail because of the burden on it. Well, that's right. Parfait mentioned having to bear the crystallum lucis. A thought occurs to me as I look at her more closely. Wait, couldn't you use your magic to heal yourself? Parfait shakes her head and sighs. I don't have the ability to heal. None of us do, except for one particular witch who calls herself the Witch Doctor. Interesting. You would think that, especially like a light witch, like a goody two-shoes witch would be able to heal, but I guess not. Only one person called the Witch Doctor. Maybe we'll see her, maybe? I don't know. Witch Doctor? Is something wrong? Rumpel shakes his head and gives her a wistful smile. The name just sounds familiar. It's likely you heard about her from someone else before. Humans do know of her existence after all. A witch? She's not a fairy, or rather, fairy rather, yeah. Because she's a fairy, not a witch. I forgot the lore. But yeah, basically the good magic people are the fairies, and the bad, people, or at least according to humans anyway, are the witches. Right? Is that how it works? For some reason, I had thought fairies would be more likely to heal people, not witches. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, fairies are the light bearers, and the witches the dark bearers, and everything. And there was this great war, and blah blah blah. She's indeed a witch. That's what they all say. Though I have never met her myself. She's the only one who can heal illnesses with magic. She doesn't associate with other witches though, and keeps to herself. Nobody has known where to find her for a very long time. Suffice it to say, we could never seek out help from her even if we wanted to. Her face shakes her head. No, unfortunately not. Rumpel looks grim, but Parfait quickly dissipates the gloomy atmosphere with a clap of her hands. Well, if Delora was here, she would say, "Alright, start time is over." That was all very interesting. Interesting, but it does not really help anyone. Your body is the way that it is because of the Great War then. Like I told you before, the Great War has made my body a lot weaker. This is something that cannot be healed, and I don't have an heir, so... Parfait looks about ready to say something but goes silent. She has a sad look on her face, and I don't understand why. Anise immediately speaks up. I think it'll be okay, Lady Parfait. I was actually going to go on errand right in a few minutes. Do you need any help? I will be more than happy to escort a lovely lady like yourself around town. Anise pulls out a list from my bag nearby and holds it out. There are only a few items on the list as far as I can see. Don't worry about it, Rumpel. It's not that much at all. Rumpel stares at the list. His expression suddenly smooths into something more serious. May I have that? Anise hands him the list, and slowly he takes a pen out from his pocket. I stare as he looks over the list quietly, and then scribbles some things down the bottom. Afterwards, he hands it over to Anise. I've added some things that might be helpful. The herbs on the list are for joint pains. You might want something a little more general. How does he all know all that? Is he I guess he knows something about herbs then, I don't know. Everyone is staring at Rumpel with wide eyes. Even Parfait looks impressed. You've used herbs before, Rumpel? Maybe. I don't remember. For some reason, names came to the top of my head as I was looking at the list. Thank you. It is always my pleasure to help a lovely lady. Now, Anise, please let me accompany you to town. I would love to help with whatever I can, and more names might come to me. Well, that sounds nice, thank you, Rumpel. Rumpel turns to me, a mischievous smile on his face. Whenever he looks at me like that, I know he's going to suggest something ridiculous. Princess Lucette should accompany us, for the experience. I do not need experience. How are you going to shower people with compliments if you know nothing about them? Being out in town will be good for you. Rumpel has a point. The more you expand your world, the more willing you'll learn more about the people. I do not need to be lectured. Oh, Princess, that wasn't meant to be a lecture. I'm just letting you know that experience is invaluable. Come on, Princess. Let us escort the lovely Anise around town. What about your work? Rumpel puts a finger to my lips and grins. No one seems to have thought of that, so it will be our little secret. I slap his hand away, but he just grins at me jovially. He always stop invading my personal space. I guess that's one of the things I don't like about him. He always keeps invading our personal space. How did I get dragged into this? Please, don't stay out too long. We won't. I make my way with Rumpel and Anise. The majority of the conversations we have are one-sided, with Rumpel giving us both the usual compliment. He never seems to be too tired of it. Rumpel helps Anise pick certain herbs and a few other medications, and accepts all of the compliments she gives him with a triumphant smile. I know Anise knows about herbs because she's helped me before, but how does Rumpel know so much about them? You know, probably because they're memories, that he has in his head or something. This must be a part of the past that he doesn't remember. Anise enters the store by herself at one point, leaving me alone with Rumpel. I'm a mysterious man, aren't I? I turn to look at him and notice the easy smile adorning his face. A man with amnesia is full of secrets, after all. It's a very easy plot point, you see. I bet you're even more curious about me. Women always love mysterious men. I do not particularly care. But Princess, if my curse is my amnesia, then shouldn't you care somehow? As partners, we're gonna help each other out, right? This is the first time that, ironically, because Rod and, Claude, they didn't want their curses to be broken. But Rumpel is the only person that, he actually wants help on that, We're probably gonna do that from the beginning, I don't know. I do not see how I can help you with your amnesia. Oh, maybe this is a spell that can only be broken by a true love's kiss, shall we see? Actually, probably that will happen, It's like, just thinking about the presidents. Is that the one? Presidents? The other two routes. It's probably what will happen. He leans toward me with a playful smile on his face. I am accustomed to this behavior by now, so it does not faze me, and I merely sigh at his nonsense. You already said yourself that you need to gather entries from some kind of journal. Ah, Princess, you're no fun. A little kiss wouldn't hurt anyone. I would die before I kiss you. Oh, princess, that's so sad. He says that, but he's still smiling. Why is he so unfazed by everything I say to him? You only ever have terrible suggestions. It was a mistake to trust you might have good advice. But I have great ideas. You haven't helped with my curse at all. I've been trying, though. You haven't even told me how to get a good deed. I told you before, princess. Compliments make a person happy, and making a person happy is a good deed. So you flirting with women and using shallow compliments on them is a good deed. On the surface, the compliments may seem shallow, but if you swim a little deeper, complimenting someone cannot be a good deed, but making them happy is. All you have to do is listen to people, sympathize with them, and you get to know them, and you can make them happy by doing even small things for them. Women enjoy the compliments, princess. Besides, how could I see such beauties and not compliment them? It would be a disservice. You give compliments to people you don't even care about. Princess. Rumpel's voice trails off as he stares past me. His smile falters for a few moments, and a look of confusion ripples his features. I turn to follow his gaze, and I see a small boy staring at us. He's shyly hiding behind some kind of notebook. Okay, it's a new sprite technically of a little boy, alright. There's that seriousness again. It was the same thing that happened when he added something to a list for parfait. Then suddenly the expression changes to Rumpel's usual bright smile. Hello there! Would you like to come and speak with us, young sir? You don't remember me, sir? Oh, do I know you? I used to come to your clinic. You saved me before. Okay, yeah. I mean, I guess it's confirmed. He's like a doctor of some sort. The boy draws closer to us, still hiding shyly behind his notebook. I'm sorry, little sir. I'm afraid that my memories are a bit scrambled right now. I can't even remember my own name. Really? Where is Anise? Why is she taking so long? Last thing I want to hear is a conversation between Rumpel and some child. He's gonna challenge this boy with compliments too. I don't know if... I was gonna say, flirting with a little boy? No! I'm gonna have to call the police? No. It's a shame that I can't remember a boy as bright as yourself. And there it is. I'm not that bright, sir. Not as bright as you, but I want to be. He holds up his notebook, which has a small name scribbled on the corner. The words "My dreams" are written on the front cover in cursive letters. What's this? I want to be just like you when I grow up. Why, I started a book of dreams just like my mom told me to. She said I could become a doctor too, so long as I tried my best. A doctor? You forgot that you are a doctor, sir? Rumpel, a doctor? The boy continues to hold out the book, and finally Rumpel takes it out and flips it open to the front page. Rumpel is holding the book close to his face so I cannot see it. I rise to the tips of my toes and attempt to look over his shoulder. At first, Rumpel does not notice me as he stares at the page. Then belatedly he realizes I am there and lowers the book so that I can read too. I lean so close to him our shoulders brush. My eyes scan over the page quickly. The handwriting is crude, barely readable actually. I can still make out the gist of it. Rumpel slowly reads the words aloud. When I'm older, I want to be exactly like the kind doctor that saved me when I had no one else to go to. The boy's face flushes as Rumpel reads his words aloud before his curious gaze lands on me. I don't remember you. I look at the boy, irritated. Are you the doctor's wife? Rumpel suddenly looks up, eyes wide. He looks down at the boy then at me, his face suddenly solemn. I am surprised at the words that leaves his mouth next. Yes, she is. What? Okay. He takes my hand in his and looks down at me, an almost sad look on his face. What is wrong with him? Where do we say this here? He's just super serious. We can slap him. I'm sure. You know what? At least for the first run through, anytime there's an option to slap Rumpel, I'm just gonna take it. Let go of me. Rumpel's eyes crease with worry as he tightly holds my hand. The sadness in his eyes becomes anxiety, and I see something like fear dancing in his eyes. You really think it was my fault? Look at his eyes so vacant, almost like he's looking through me. It is as if he's in some kind of trance. The way he looks at me makes my skin crawl. His grip on my hand tightens, making me shudder. Rather than slap his hand away, I reach out with my free hand, slap his face. Slap! Boom! I stare perplexed at the sudden bafflement on Rumpel's face. Did the slap to the face knock him out of that strange trance? He's being even stranger than normal, and the intensity of look in his eyes is scaring me. Ah. Rumpel stares at me for a few moments, blinking slowly. Oh no, I blanked out. I'm sorry, princess. What just happened to him? The way he was speaking was so strange, almost like he was in some kind of trance. But I know how people are. They lie and they put on faces. I'm sorry for spacing out. If I invaded your space, then I'm sorry. You are apologizing. Rumpel puts a hand to his cheek where I slapped him. I think I deserve that. But thanks for getting me out of whatever that was. Okay, I guess it was the right thing to do. All at once, the sheepish smile breaks into something cheerful again. He's still smiling at me, even though I was so curt with him. Rumpel is so confusing. The boy looks bewildered. Well, don't worry about that, little sheriff. This one here is a feisty thing. I deserve. I thought it was the boy that was talking. I got confused. Don't worry about that, little sir. This one here is a feisty thing. I deserve whatever she just did. Oh, he's not your wife, sir? Rumpel looks a little surprised and then he laughs. Unfortunately, no, this beautiful lady here is not my wife. Rumpel absently rubs the back of his neck as he looks up at the sky. I'm not entirely sure what just happened, but it seems like I recovered something very important today. Or the beginnings of something important. Something important? Is he talking about a memory? He hands the book back to the boy, then he leans down and sets a hand on the boy's head. A bell chimes behind us as Anise comes out of the store, carrying a bag filled with what I assume are herbs and medicine. Didn't he say that he needs like 3 pieces of his memories or something in his notebook? I think, or maybe I'm just mixing that up with like the Cinderella curse or whatever. But assuming it's like 3 things, I guess he got the first one here, right? He just remembers he was a doctor maybe or something like that. Maybe that he has a wife, I don't know. The boy once again cowers behind his book. Oh, who's this? The wonderful little sir that helped me regain a very important memory. An important memory? Rumpel stands, looking triumphant. I, my good lady, am a doctor. Oh, really? Truly. Rumpel turns back to the boy, who asks us a few more questions. He even asks the boy his name. Much to my surprise, the boy shakes his head. I'm sure you told me your name, but I don't remember it. It's like my curse. No one remembers me being a princess, and no one remembers Rumpel's true name. You know, I wonder if he's a doctor. Is he the witch doctor? I don't know. I mean, what's her face? Parfait said the witch doctor, she referred to the pronoun she, so I assume the witch doctor is supposed to be like a woman, so I don't think it's Rumpel specifically, but maybe it's Rumpel, maybe he knew the witch doctor or something? And then maybe he got cursed by that same witch doctor? I don't know, we'll see I guess. Rumpel thanks the boy again many times over and even buys him a few pieces of candy. The boy's eyes are practically glowing with excitement and he does not stop smiling. After we see him off and start to head back to the tavern, I begin to contemplate. I am curious about something. Oh? You said that you needed to fill your journal with memories in order to get them back, but the journal you just read wasn't yours. It appears not. It seems that the 3 entries that triggered my memories just need to be written by people I know. Reading them triggers my memory, and then the full entry probably appears in my journal. I ought to check it when I get back. I see. Yeah, 3 entries. But even without looking into the entry, a memory came to your mind? Rumpel gives a short, distracted nod. It is not complete, but I'm hoping that something really has appeared in my journal. It feels like it must, considering I remember something so important. Do you remember anything else at all? The young man we just met. I believe that he used to come to watch me work before. I knew him. He used to look up to me. He was a sweet child. The memory is foggy, but yes, I believe something did happen to him. He became ill. The details of how I saved him must be in the journal. Even though this does not pertain to my curse, I am curious what his journal might say. I can't remember fully, but the memory feels sad somehow. He turns to me, eyebrows knit together. It is strange to see him with such a serious expression on his face. I really am sorry about earlier, Princess. I think I was on the verge of a memory, but then it got tangled up in my head. I am surprised by his sudden change in topic. I shake my head slowly. He is quiet for a few moments before suddenly his smile comes back and he laughs jovially, telling us that there's no point in worrying. At the town's outskirts, I turn, feeling eyes on my back, but no one's there. We give Parfait the medicines we purchased in town as soon as we arrive back at the Martian. Then Rumpel proudly announces that he is a doctor to anyone that will listen to him. Everyone seems to be happy for him, save for the Martian patrons that find Rumpel annoying, who are mostly men. Afterwards, Rumpel asks Anise if he might be able to take over the medications for Parfait, if only because Anise is busier than him. But Rumpel has been at the Martian long, and he's already found something to help break his curse. And then there's me. I do not think anyone will be able to help me. At the end of the night, when I finally have time to myself, I return to my room to rest. The next day, I'm sent right back to my chores. Rumpel is nowhere to be found, or nowhere to be seen in the morning, and he says it's because he's tending to Parfait. He appears later in the afternoon, still full of smiles and silly flattery as he goes back to serving. How does he have so much energy? At the end of the day, I plop down in the settee to rest. My legs are weak from all the walking I've done today, and I can still feel the tiredness in my arms from all the sweeping with Mr. Broom. Princess? I notice Anise beneath the doorway, smiling at me uncertainly. Thank you for your work today. Why is she thanking me for work I obviously do not want to do? As if I asked to do any of this, I didn't ask for this. You still helped. Anise nervously shifts on her feet. So I just want to say thanks. When I do not make any effort to continue speaking with her, Anise gives a nervous little nod before heading back to her room. Not long after her departure, I hear an exuberant and familiar voice. I should count my lucky stars, for they give me a rare opportunity to meet with my lovely princess this late at night. I should have gone to my room. Rumpel stops before me, winking. It's always like, I mean, I feel like, again, in the end, they're probably gonna end up together, but really it's like, Princess is playing hard to get, and he's always chasing after her, or whatever. I feel like, I get it's fine like in a fictional story, but I feel like sometimes you should really understand your boundaries and not force it. If you're like trying to flirt with someone in real life, you shouldn't do that. That's probably another reason why I don't like Rumpel. Like acting that way is not, it's not good. I don't know. The moonlight on your face makes your beautiful eyes sparkle like the most precious gold, Princess. I'm not in the mood for your flattery. But Princess, flattery is just a compilation of compliments. Everyone loves compliments. I do not care for your compliments. Or Lady Annie's thanks, either. He heard that. You should learn to let people spoil you. I stare at him. That's the last thing I'd ever expected anyone to say. My whole life I've been called spoiled and rotten, the Ice Princess. Even the Lore and Parfait want me to do these good deeds because they think I'm incapable of goodness. I clench my fists and continue to stare at him, not understanding the swell of emotion inside of me. Why is he being so nice to me? Your first lesson is learning how to let people spoil you. He draws back his hand, reaches into his pocket and presents me with a small yellow bag. What's this? For you, my sweet princess. How about no? Look, I don't know. I'm just gonna act as much as loose as I can, and still be the Ice Princess. So how about I don't? I cannot accept your gift. The princess, my advice. You have no reason to spoil me. Princess, this is what I've been trying to explain to you all day. You don't need a reason to spoil someone. It doesn't always have to be about paying someone back. Rumpel smiles a little sheepishly, then he places the bag in my hand and curls my fingers around it. You deserve nice things, Princess. You barely know me and yet you still say that. Barely know you. We may not have known each other personally, but that doesn't mean I don't know enough about you. I'm giving you this gift because I truly want you to have it. As I don't know, we do actually get points. I don't know. Literally by, like, you know, by not playing along and actually opposing him, we actually get more points, huh? I'm giving you this gift because I truly want you to have it. Besides, this is both a thank you and an apology gift. A thank you for accepting me as your partner, and an apology for my behavior yesterday. I don't remember what I did, but both you and the boy seemed frightened. I looked down at the little bag. I opened it up, and inside is a little white chocolate piece. A little white chocolate piece, fashioned into the shape of a flower. A lily, like this, like right here, this lily. It's not much, but you absolutely must accept it, princess. Otherwise, my guilt would drown me in dark shadows of sorrow for the rest of time. Lilies are my favorite flower. I'm surprised there isn't a Yuri root then. Anyway, they say you give a white lily someone you enjoy spending time with. Oh, and in floral language, they also stand for purity and majesty. He winks at me. Perfect for you, princess. Why? Why what? Why would you give this to me? No matter what you say about doing nice things for people, I don't see how that applies to me. Why would you thank me for being your partner? I did not even want to be your partner at first. You do now? I am unable to withhold my surprise. Rumpel raises an eyebrow, then sighs. Princess, you don't trust compliments, do you? Mother always told me that people were two-sided, that they say anything to make you believe that they were your friend. No. Never fear, my sweet princess. I'll make sure I compliment you until you learn to accept them. But... no buts. I derive my happiness from making ladies like yourself happy. The compliments may seem strange to you, but don't worry, you'll see it in time. See what? The connections between people. You assume I'm just a flirt, but I get to know an awful lot about people. It's the reason I can guess so much about you. What could Rumpel possibly know about me? So, what do you think? Are you more attracted to me now because of my mysterious aura, or my doctorly sophistication? He leans closer to me, his eyes sparkling. I could be your own personal doctor. That's harassment. I will slap you if you touch me again. Rumpel pulls back and raises both his hands in surrender, but the smile does not leave his face. You really are hopeless, aren't you? Do you think so? I thought the events from today might have proven otherwise. Oh, speaking of which, I read over my journal earlier. His expression becomes oddly solemn. Shall I enlighten you? How would you tell me all this? Oh, you're not interested? I thought you might be since I was your partner. If I don't listen, you'll still tell me regardless, so feel free to share. Rumpel sighs as he flips the journal open. Unfortunately, it was not much. The memory began coming together again as I was reading, but a lot of it still doesn't make sense. I glanced down at the entry he has stopped at. Look at the bottom of the page, princess. I follow his gaze to the bottom of the page and pause, noticing a conspicuous gap. There's no signature, and I always sign the end of every entry I write, and I wonder if that might be the final piece of the puzzle. The final piece of your curse. Yeah, finding his name, right? If my name refuses to show up in the book, it might very well be the final memory I need to regain. You believe that the signature will be what gives you your true name, then? I have a feeling that might be the case. It was the first thing I noticed when the entry appeared. That would explain why the boy in town didn't know my name either. And there is something else. Something else that's missing. The journal entry is cryptic at best. Vague, almost like an incomplete puzzle piece. I stare at him, not understanding. Slowly, Rumpel begins to explain. It says here, the boy's family rushed him to my clinic. He had a terminal illness that I could not cure. He was at death's door and I couldn't save him. But he's still alive, isn't he? He even said you saved him. Yes, there's a resolution in the journal, but it's not very helpful. I glance down the journal entry as Rumpel continues to speak. I refused to give up. I knew there had to be a way to save the boy. I never gave up on my patients. In the journal entry, I describe someone who came to help me save the boy. He lifts the book and points to the words, reading them aloud. I met her for the first time tonight. She told me she had some way to help the boy, so we struck a deal. I hope I do not come to regret this. He snaps the journal shut, startling me. He sighs as he runs a hand through his hair, and I can already guess what that is. I assume the woman is a witch, and the deal was that he was cursed after the witch doctor used her magic powers to heal the boy. Maybe that's my first guess. I don't know. That's it. Someone helped me somehow, and I made a deal. I'm assuming this is related to my curse, but I can't say how. Why did you write so vaguely? I wish I could ask my past self the same question. But in the end, you're still not sure when you were cursed. Rumpel pauses, then shakes his head. I believe it started here. Not the curse, but the events that led to it. There's a reason this is the first memory to be triggered. It's important. For a few moments, the two of us are quiet. Rumpel's curse is a mystery. Not because he's hiding it like Karma is, but because he does not understand it himself. After a few moments, Rumpel begins to laugh, breaking the silence. I look at him startled. What's so funny? Oh, it's not funny, it's just... This is all very mysterious, isn't it? And my mysterious past makes me more alluring, doesn't it? Only Rumpel could take such a serious moment and change it into this. Well, what do you think, princess? Are you drawn into the mystery of it? I have no choice. You'd tell me even if I didn't want to know. Yeah, I do admit I kind of want to know. I do like I like any kind of like mystery, you know, like solving little pieces of like the puzzle, you know, and you learn what happens, you know, in the end, that sort of thing. So it actually does make me more interested. I don't know. Oh, but you do. I can see the curiosity in your lovely golden eyes. And I could see it earlier today too. Thank you for accompanying me to town. I believe I only met the boy because you were there to guide my way. We were looking for medical supplies. That boy appeared through mere coincidence. No, it was more than coincidence. It was destiny. Fine, whatever you say. Listening to him is exhausting. It makes me realize how tired I am. And all these revelations are making my head spin. I'm going to bed now. I'm too tired for this. It's indeed been a busy day. We will continue this enlightening discussion some other time. Perhaps. I turn to walk away with a little chocolate in my hands. As I walk back toward the darkness of the hallway, Rumpel's soft voice echoes behind me. Sweet dreams, princess. Or my princess, you know. Ding dong. Another memory. You waited, but the children didn't come, did they? They promised to be back today. We even crossed pinkies. You know, hope to die, or you swallow 1,000 needles or something. Promises are futile, dearest heart. But I've told you before, and I'll tell you again, people are selfish creatures. They will always put their own well-being before others. No one does anything selflessly. Put your trust in someone is weakness, Lucette. Even those that make promises will only keep them if it benefits them. And you, my sweet, were obviously not beneficial to those children, even though you probably like stopped them from coming in the first place, you know, or something. I assume like maybe her birthday party or something, you know. I don't know. So did they like playing with me? No, they did not. I totally didn't send them all to the dungeon and executed them. Totally did not do that. Anyway, come here, darling. You do not need those children. The two of us can play together as we always do. I can always trust you, mother? Of course, my love. My head feels foggy. Maybe it was because it took me forever to fall asleep yesterday. And then, to make things worse, I ended up having that dream. Mother, you're the only one I can trust, right? Even though you're totally like super evil? I slowly slide out of my bed and make my way over to my dresser. The little bag is still where I left it last night. I open it up and let the little white chocolate lily fall into my hand. Has it melted or something? I don't know. Is he really trying to help me? I remember his face yesterday and his bright smile as he presented this to me. I slowly run my fingers across the delicate white petals. He couldn't have known lilies were my favorite flower. There's no reason to be sentimental about something like this. It's just silly. I'm about to put the flower back in the bag, but I stop, eyeing it once more. Slowly, I bring it to my lips and bite off a small petal, and then I die because it was poison. Oh no! Bleh. It is actually pretty good. I stuff the little flower back into the bag and make my way downstairs. Okay, just a little nibble. Okay, that's kind of weird, but alright. Not just gonna eat it. Just eat it. I don't know. The Martian is not busy this early in the morning, but everyone is starting on their chores. At least I assume as much when I see Anise and then Waltz, who's helping her stack things. Then I hear rising voices and I realize that not all is calm. At least I don't have to pretend to be something I'm not. Oh boy, you're gonna argue again. You say you're not pretending when you go around flirting with all the female patrons day in and day out. You cannot seriously mean all the drivel you spout. Karma and Rumpel stand on opposite sides of a table, staring each other down. A teacup filled with what looks to be cool tea sits close to Karma, abandoned. Flirting with a lady is not a crime. One day, your flirting is gonna get you even more trouble than it already has. I've never had a lady who said I mistreated her, not once. Oh, I'm sure many could attest to being more than slightly annoyed. You're only jealous that I can speak to ladies without a disguise, aren't you? Karma slams his hand down on the table, shaking it. Tavern grows quiet. Waltz looks over, his eyebrows furrowed with worry. You know, actually, when I think about it, that is actually very insulting. I guess, you know, Rumpel doesn't really understand, but actually, that's very, like, that would make him super angry, you know, because the whole point is that he can't fall in love with anyone, right? That's why he's forced to wear this disguise, and yet he's, you know, jeering him on because of that, because of his burden and everything. That's actually very insulting. He's being very insensitive. This guy, this flirtatious doctor, but I don't know, I guess he doesn't know. Partially because Karma is keeping it a secret, but still, not nice. If you so much as make one more comment about my curse, then stop making comments about how I speak. The two continue to glare at each other. It almost looks like as if Karma might circle the table and slap him, when the fire freezes as Julian strides up to the two men. It's too early for two of you to already be at each other's throats. He started it. Yeah. All I did was make a comment. He was the one that picked the fight. There you go again, twisting words. Julian stomps on the ground. The two men once again turn to look at her. It's my job to break up unnecessary fights, and I will do it. If you two must continue fighting, go do it somewhere else, like the forest, where you can't disturb anyone. Both men turn away from each other, obviously agitated. Rumpel's expression is cloudy as he makes his way over to the bar to begin helping set the tables. Julian noticed me watching. She waves at me with a terse smile on her face. Sorry you had to wake up to that, princess. I shrug as I make my way over to Mr. Broom. Only Mr. Broom understands me. Anyway, it's like waking up to two children arguing. Agreed, wholeheartedly. Julian sighs before looking at me thoughtfully. Maybe you could have a word with Rumpel later. I have no idea how their argument even started, but maybe you can get to the bottom of it. I am not a babysitter. But I heard the two of you were partners. Anyway, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Good luck with your work today, princess. Julian walks off, vigilant as always. I notice Garland looking at her from the bar, a slight frown on his face. I start working around the tavern, starting first with the cleaning and then with the snacking. Laura makes snide remarks about my slowness as I work, and I try my best to ignore her while occasionally throwing her insults back at her. It is as if she has nothing better to do. The door to the tavern opens and Parfait steps inside with a bright smile. She looks more energetic than usual. I wonder if this is because of Rumpel's medicine suggestions. Later, I manage to catch Rumpel when the two of us are both on the break. He looks pleased to see me until I mention Karma. Why were the two of you fighting earlier? What a sad day it is that the princess talks about another man to my face. Just answer me. I was getting ready for the events of today as always, speaking to the lovely woman who filled her in and out of this place. When the beasts appeared behind me. Beasts. Very, I guess kind of like, I don't know, Technically foreshadowing, technically. But like in a different route, so what do you call that? I don't know. Foreshadowing a different route or a different timeline? I don't know. Even his insults are dramatic. Your flirting is distracting me, he proclaimed. Well, your flirting is annoying. But all I'm doing is complimenting women. I'm not impeding anyone's work. I thought the only reason he was calling me out on such a thing was because he was actually jealous. You should have seen his scowl. And here we go. And so I politely told him to mind his own business, but he was relentless, and when he continued to insult my demeanor, well, I had to say something back, but I was the one that wanted to start the fight. I swear, they both really do sound like children. No doubt Karma will be blaming Rumpel. Princess, you don't really think I'm so confrontational, do you? I think Karma is far more confrontational than Rumpel, but it does not help that Rumpel always snaps back at him. The two of you are both at fault. But Princess! In the end, we're still having a childish argument. I think that Rumpel might try to protest again, and I'm surprised when he shrugs his shoulders and sighs. Yes, it was childish because that man is a child. I roll my eyes. Your irritated scowl chills my heart, Princess. I feel a tinge of excitement. I'm leaving now. There really is no point in having this conversation. There's a problem between Karma and Rumpel. They aren't children, they can figure this out on their own. Oh, Princess of my heart, why must you depart so early? I ignore Rumpel and leave him standing where he is as I return to my shift a little early. Honestly, I would much rather focus on work than Rumpel. He can be just as tiring, if not more. Though, after what happened last night, I do not think he is as terrible as I thought. Days go on, and Rumpel and I speak only briefly during our breaks. Every day I eat another piece of a lily until only one is remaining. One afternoon, just before my break, Rumpel approaches me with a mischievous smile on his face. Isn't that? She said before eating, like nibbling on the little white chocolate, I guess, every day. That's kind of weird to me. I don't know. Don't you have like saliva on the chocolate? Doesn't that like make it go bad? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. Rumpel approaching me with a mischievous smile on his face. My lovely princess, how are you today? What do you want? Your cold shoulder is enticing. I have one more table to serve, do not bother me. But princess, I've decided I know exactly how to teach you to be good. All of your other lessons have been useless so far. Please, just trust me. Put my trust in someone is weakness. I'm going to teach you how to flirt. What? The first step to flirting is eye contact, princess. Wait, but why are you... Rumpel points at my customer, a young man sitting right beside the window. Are we gonna flirt? Man, it surprises me so much. I'm coughing. Some water. I don't know why I need so much water these days. I mean, I guess it's because I'm reading so much. You know, when I read Fate Stay Night, I was just narrating the monologues or whatever, but, for, like, a visual novel with no voice acting at all, I need to read every single line, so I guess that's why. Which is not so bad. I do like reading the lines, I don't know. I like reading. Reading is fun! Hooray! Rumpel points at my customer, a young man sitting right beside the window. Hey there, big guy! No. The second is to smile. Smile, princess, because I'm sure you look even more stunning when you do. Then you start a conversation with him. Body language is important. There are certain signals that key men is the fact that a woman is interested in them. Even though, in real life, it's kind of different because every kind of like signal is different for every woman, so you never really know if any. It's hard to tell if someone's really interested in you unless you ask or you know the person, right? It depends on their body language, depending. Like for example, like a little thing I've learned actually. If someone is friendly towards you, how do you know that they're interested in you? Well, you observe them, and do they act the same way to other people, right? Usually, if they're just friendly with everyone the same way, that means they're just being friendly, right? They're not interested in you. But if they treat you, special, then maybe they're interested in you, you know, romantically. I don't know. Anyway, that's just something I've heard. Might not be, you know, something that's 100% or anything, but it's an interesting little tidbit. Anyway, I think playing with your hair is one. A gentle tap on the shoulder is another. I should have expected Rumpel to spout this sort of nonsense. Princess, the customer's been waiting for a while now. Is something wrong? I notice the customer is looking at me expectantly. He's just some man, a usual customer that I actually see often. Oh, and Princess, don't forget the compliments. Make them as delicate and illustrative as you can. You know, I mean, I guess another thing I've learned that, you know, when you make a compliment, at the very least, in order to not make it shallow, actually, you need to compliment on something that they do, right? For example, you know, when you say, "Oh, your eyes are so beautiful," that's actually very shallow because what do they do to their eyes? They do anything special with their eyes, so it's like just something they have. So in order to make it a compliment that's actually truly special, is to compliment on something that they actually did. Or so I don't know, for example, you know, you're like a good runner, right? You're the best runner after they finished the marathon or whatever, right? They finished first in the marathon. You're a good runner, right? Obviously, I don't know, something like that. It makes it something that they earn, you know, by themselves. Makes a better compliment, I guess. You know, something like that. Anyway, I move away from Rumpel before he can muddle my thoughts any further. Already, my feet feel like lead. I find myself staring at the man for far too long. The way he stares back at me, his expression is so unreadable, suddenly makes me feel more uncomfortable. Probably because that's a generic man with no eyes, you know? You're not a main character, so they don't have eyes. I don't know. Do I really have to do what Rumpel says? I stop in front of the man and set down his tray, my eyes still on his. I do not have to follow Rumpel's advice, but for some reason, my lips quirk. The smile on my lips, though, lasts all of half a second. Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? You know what? For the comedy, yeah, alright, let's try it. I can feel Rumpel smiling at my back. If this were anyone else but him, I would think it was some kind of prank. But considering this is the way Rumpel acts all the time, maybe he's really trying to help me. I try to recall how he flirted with customers before. I could not help but notice you were alone, sir. I'm always alone. Feels bad, man. I don't know. My heart is thumping far too loudly in my chest. What kind of things does Rumpel usually say? Madam, you're the most beautiful thief I've ever met, for it is you that have stolen my heart and stolen my gaze. Your eyes are more captivating than the stars, my sweet. If I could, I would stare at them forever and lose myself in their majesty. Yeah, these are examples of bad compliments, you know? These, like, I don't know, cheesy opening lines or whatever. What do you call them? Like, pickup lines? Yeah. Pickup lines never work, by the way. They suck. Unless you're being, I guess, intentionally cheesy, I guess, you know? Otherwise, they suck? They don't work. Don't use them. You remind me of the rose with thorns, but the thorns are what makes them so alluring. Actually, that's what he used for us, actually. All he does is spell complimentary gibberish. And we're trying to do the same, I guess. How is it that you would always be alone when you have such lovely eyes? Aha! But he has no eyes. He has no eyes! No. The customer stares at me, baffled. I force myself to continue. Your eyes remind me of the leaves in fall as they flutter beneath the bright gaze of the sun, and... I stop. The words, nothing more than a shallow lie, makes me feel strangely hollow. The man is just staring at me, but he looks uncomfortable. Still, I do not think he is anywhere near as uncomfortable as I am. Ma'am? Perhaps you would... My voice trails off. I bite my lip so hard I can taste something metallic. That's called blood, by the way. The man's expression is a mixture of awe and perplexity. I immediately turn away from him and walk off. My whole face is hot. I can feel anger boiling deep down inside of me. Well, I guess we got points by doing that. I don't know. Princess, leave me alone. Princess, we're not done. I do not care. I ignore everyone's gazes and make my way as quickly as possible, as I possibly can up the stairs into my room. There, I collapsed on my bed and lay there with my arms outstretched. Why would I have even thought of taking Rumpel's advice? Hours go by, and eventually, I realize that it's time to help my niece with the night chores. Now I'm helping her restock some of the bottles that Waltz and Karma brought back from town. I hope my niece does not mention what happened earlier today. I slip out of bed and head down to the main area of the tavern.